What's up everybody, welcome back to Roo Studios Tekkit 1.2.9G. This is episode 35 and we have finally arrived at the point where we can complete our first turbine. We've made our Enderium blocks after long protracted episodes of getting blaze farms ready and ender farms ready to get the materials to make all this together, and we have finally done it. So we're at our Enderium blocks and we're going to go down and we're going to get our turbine completed. It's going to be done this episode if it kills me. Sorry, it's going to take 30 minutes, but I'm going to get it done. There is one thing we do need to make, however, and that is 4 tesseracts, and we also need to get the reactor coolant, the coolant ports for the reactor. We need 2 of the, actually no, we need more than that. We're going to go for 3 of them at this stage and see how we go with that. The rest of that can stay there. Have all the rest of the materials here, and we need to make some tesseracts. So let's get some tesseracts done first. They shouldn't be too hard. Famous last words though. First thing we need to make, tesseracts are a 3-stage thing. So you need to make a tesseract frame, then you need to fill it and have a full tesseract frame, and then you need to make the actual tesseract itself. So the first thing we do is make the tesseract frame. So let's just hit R on that and see what's required. We have Enderium ingots. We have, I'm pretty sure we have hardened glass. Well, I hope we do. If we don't, I have the materials for it. So let's have all that. Let's get rid of our Enderium there. So some Enderium ingots. Oh, look at that. Oh man. Alright, I'll have to get rid of some of these first. Let's just... oh, I've done it again. Never mind. I can always change them back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go for our hardened. Okay, we're going to need 4 of these. So hardened glass. There's some hardened glass and some diamonds, of which we have plenty of. So there's our tesseracts frame. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Now we need to fill them, and from memory we need resonant ender to do that. Now we have a heap of resonant ender from my previous mistake. I'll just go R. Yes, we need resonant ender in a fluid transposer. So let's just see where my fluid transposer is at. It's got nothing in it, and it's got nothing there. So we need a bucket of resonant ender. Let's just get rid of that rain, it's fairly noisy. Oh look, we already have one there, nice. So put our bucket of resonant ender in here. There we go. Open this up, there we go, so she's filling up there now nicely. So all we need to do is pop our tesseract frames in there and let them fill up. Now they take a fair bit, I think, from memory. And they'll just fill up there for us. So as soon as they're done, I'll be right back and I'll get them in. In fact, they should be just about ready to go by the time I get this section set up. Get rid of that, and now we want to make the actual tesseract itself, which is up here. So we hit R, and all we need is the tesseract full with silver ingot and bronze ingot. Bronze ingot is bronze dust made from copper and tin. So let's get some copper and tin happening here. First off, let's see if I have any bronze. No, I don't. So heaps of copper. Heaps of tin. Yep, but that one. Okay, let's just make a stack of those. What have we got going in here? Pulverized iron. How much of that we got left? Okay, I'll just take this out for now and just smelt that up. So now we can get rid of that. We have some silver ingots somewhere. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. We should have bronze coming into the system right about now. Maybe it's the Tinker's. Yeah, there it is. It's funny, the Tinker's bronze. It's a Tinker's alloy ingot that we need, but the recipe says bronze. But it's for this mod pack, it's actually called Tinker's alloy ingot, and it's the same stuff. Now we just need the tesseracts, and there we have a full tesseract there. So notice it says Tinker's alloy ingot. Now if we go to the recipe here, it says bronze ingot from Clavica core. Never heard of that, but it does change to Tinker's alloy ingot as well. So as you can see from thermal expansion, so that's all good. So we need 4 of those. 1. I don't think they stack either. 2, 3, 4. All right, now we can go and get our turbine completed and arced it up. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do some changes to our reactor, because at the moment it's a passively cooled, it's a passive reactor. We need to turn it into an active reactor, and it's a simple matter of changing, of adding our reactor coolant ports. To do that, we also need to make a water source and get some item nodes, liquid item nodes in there to pump water into the system, but that won't take long. So down here, we'll get our turbine finished. So in our previous or so episodes ago, we made all of this system here ready to go, and we just had to stop because I failed to make some Enderium. And this is basically the copper. You need this to actually generate the power, and the best way to do this, now you can use other materials, like there's a number of materials you can use for this, and each has their own properties. However, Enderium has been the best so far. And all you do is you put 8 blocks around in a ring like that, and you do it all the way around 5 times. Now the 5th one isn't a complete circle. Right, the 5th one is just across the top and down one, like that, and that gives you your maximum output. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one less the bottom row there. Okay, and that'll give you 1800 RPM and about 24,000 RF per tick. Now what we need to do, I hope I've got some material left in, yeah, that'll do. We need to get up on top of this shaft here, and we need to put in our rotor blades. So now it's just a simple matter of running our rotor blades through. 3, 4, oops, get rid of that, we don't want that. 5, 6, and the end one doesn't go all the way to the top. When we need to get 80 blades in here, and this is the pattern, right? And that's it. That's the pattern there. So 6 blades at 3, and the last one, the seventh ring of blades, is only 2. So now that we've done that, we've got our exit here. Now when you start making these blades, I suppose you could walk around here. I suppose it wouldn't matter, but I tend to build it on the opposite side of my exit. So I'll go and build these ones, and then I'll build the bottom, and I'll build that side, and then leave. So where are my blades? There they are. So 1, 2, 3. 2 more, 1 there and 1 there. Okay, and that's our internal setup for our turbine. Okay, we are now set. I don't think I can get through there. As you can see, you can't get through the blades. You can get around though. Alright, and that is our setup. Now, thicken glass. Bear with me, I'll go and get some turbine glass and finish this off. Okay, here we are with some turbine glass. Now, when I put this last block in, this multi-block will change shape, and you'll see everything come together as we did with the reactor. So here we go, there we go, and now our turbine is all but complete. All we have to do now is come up here and set up our tesseracts. Okay, now see the red arrows? Both of those are indicating an input. So we need one. We just right click on one of them and it puts blue arrows on it. That's an output. Now this is the reason you have to have two tesseracts, because that while a tesseract will do a send and receive in itself, these blocks won't. So you need to have one as an input, one as an output, and that's how we work it. So what we do now is we put a tesseract there and a tesseract there, remembering that this one here on the left hand side is your output. So that one's going to be set for water, this one is going to be set for steam. Okay, and all we do now is we set it up. We just right click on it, and notice it's an empty dialog box. We say channel number 1. We're going to name this channel number 1 steam, and we're going to hit the green button to save the frequency, and it ends up down here. Okay, now again, this is the same interface as most of our machines. We want to disable the redstone, so ignore the redstone signal, so it will work all the time. And then in our configuration here, we configure what we want this thing to send and receive. Now it can send and receive items, but we don't want to do items, so we're going to block that. So you just keep left clicking it till it's blocked. It scrolls through all of the items. So we set it to blocked. Fluid's the one we want. And now it says here fluid mode is receive only, which is what we want, so we can leave that as it is. And energy we want to block as well, so we just click through that till it says blocked. And what you should see down the bottom here is sending none, receiving fluid. Steam being, although it's a gas, this thing reads it as a fluid. Okay, once you're happy with that setup, you hit the green tick to set the frequency, and the tesseract changes its shape. It puts the resonant ender on the frame and makes the inside black. That tells you that that's actually now active and working. Alright, so we do the same thing with the water tesseract. We set frequency number 2, call it water, add it to the tesseract. Now this will come up, these will come up every time you put a tesseract down. These will come up now, so you have the frequencies with you. Disable our redstone. We want to block our items, but this time we want to send fluid. So we're going to send fluid only. So our fluid is in send. So you just keep flicking through till it says send only, and then we want to block energy mode on that. Once you're happy with that, hit the set frequency. It highlights it, and you're done. Okay, so that's now set, ready to go. All we need to do here is turn this on. Now we're not quite ready for it yet because we need to set our reactor up. So that's ready to go. What we're going to do now is we're going to change our reactor here to a active reactor. Now I'm going to just disable these, now get rid of these, because we're now going to use these for, oh, get out of it you. Excuse me while I set this to peaceful mode. You don't want me beating up things like this. Okay. I'm going to remove all these now, because we're going to put these down in the laser drilling room down next to the turbine. Okay, so nothing changes here. All this stays the same. What we do need to do is first off make a water source, and we'll put the water source right over here under the stairs, I think, out of the way. So it'll be a nice, yeah, I think just here it'll be good. We'll just set this up so it looks pretty neat and tidy. And I need some buckets. We're going to get a couple of buckets and turn this into an infinite water source. Okay, so there's our infinite water source. Now we need to get a liquid piping and some liquid item node. I think I've got some of these in the inventory already. I should bring a make an access terminal down here so I don't have to walk so far all the time. Okay, I don't. Now what we do need to do is place a we need to have a good water supply. Now, the best water supply initially is what they call the liquid item nodes. So if we go item transfer node, there it is there. So transfer node liquids. To make it, we do need to make a item transfer node. So if you click on that, this is what we need to use to make it. And I'm pretty sure we've got all this stuff. There's our sorting pipe. So any sort of pipe we can make. So a sorting pipe. So stone slabs. Alright, so let's get out underway. So first off we need to do is get rid of that. Stone slabs. There. Some glass. We do need a couple of these because this needs to feed into the reactor. 8's more than enough. Okay, so item node now. Okay, let's just empty my inventory a little bit. Get rid of our fabric reality. I want to show you how to do that too. Maybe I'll make that the next tutorial. Okay, now we need to clear that. Now we need our liquid item node, and that's a simple matter of a bucket, the transfer node, and some lapis and gear. So that's easy enough to get. There's a bucket. There's a transfer node, and all we need is some iron and some lapis. Alright, now what we can do is we can head down to our reactor and change our reactor from a passively cooled reactor to an active reactor. Alright, now I'm hoping that this will reach the higher temperatures that we've been after for a while, but we'll see how we go. So let's put a piece of dirt down here, like that. Pop our liquid transfer node on top. Get rid of the dirt. Okay, when you right click on it, you've got some water in there and it's got a transfer there. So what we're going to do now, I've got to be quick with this because I don't want to freeze my water, although it may happen that way. So while I'm at it, let's just get a bucket of water here and a second bucket of water just in case this liquid cryothium does some nasty stuff. Alright, here we go. So I'm going to break the block just above the coolant and put a pipe there. But I've got to get that coolant reactor port, the reactor coolant port in there first. So just got to be quick here. And there, got it. Alright, done. And we caped our water too, excellent. So now we need is just our sorting pipe. Pop it right there. And it's feeding into, it should now be feeding into our, oops. Hopefully that's feeding into our coolant. So let's go and have a look at our control panel. Now the control panel GUI should have changed now to look, and it will look differently. There we go. So now it's making steam. It's still fairly cool and it's going down because we've actually changed it, and it's now filling up with water as you can see here. Okay, which is just what we're after. Now what we've got to be careful of here is if we don't have the tesseracts running, that'll drop off lightning fast, just incredibly quick. But what we do need to have now is we need to put in 2 more coolant reactor ports for the tesseracts. So I'll put those basically up here, roughly in the same location as the other 2. Alright, so we've put our 2 coolant nodes in there. Again, one's an input, one's an output, so we're going to put our steam on the same side as the turbine. So the steam's on the right, water's on the left. So steam's going out of the turbine and into the out of the reactor and into the turbine, and water's coming out of the turbine and back into the reactor. Okay, and we're just about ready to go. So our two tesseracts, where are they? There's one, there's the other one, and you find when we put these up here, one there and one there, when we go into them, you'll find that our frequencies are still set. Now our turbine, our steam was on the right from memory. Oh look, I've just blown it. I cannot remember. Output. So steam is definitely on the right. So there we go. So steam, see we got the steam and water frequencies already set. So all we need to do is change our configurations here. We're going to send fluid, so block everything. We're going to send fluid only, and we're going to block energy. So all we want is to send fluid, and we want to set steam and hit the check button. That's that one. The next thing we want to do is this one needs to be water coming in. So we want to block the items. We want to receive, oh, I messed up. I did it again. Receive only and block energy. Okay, disable our redstone, set it to water and click yes. And now our turbine will work quite happily. We're full of water, so we should be able to start this up now. And I should expect to see the temperature go right up through the roof. Here we go, look at that. Climbing madly. Okay, now that'll settle once I turn the turbine on. So let's go down and turn the turbine on and have a look, and then we'll come back. So here we go, steam's coming in now. So when we look at it, see the steam coming in, which is great. Now if we have a quick look at it, and just to quickly check, yes, water's going back. So the water and steam is working nicely. So the steam's always being returned, and our turbines are starting to spin. If we come back up here, we should start to see our reactor settling at around about 2,000 or 3,000 degrees. Yeah, there we go, beautiful. It's taking a little bit of water out of the system, which is good. Now every time you put a turbine on, that water will drop down a little bit. So you can get, when you look at it, you can see you get nearly 5 or 6 turbines out of half a tank of water with the way it's set up. It's running 2,000 millibuckets per tick, which is the maximum a turbine can run at. And every turbine you add to the reactor, that'll increase by 2,000 or however many millibuckets a tick you want to put on it. So that's setting around 3,000. These things can go up to 6,000 or 7,000 quite easily. It's making actually more cyanide for us, which I'm quite okay with because we need to make more reactors. That'll come down eventually as the temperature comes down. The temperature comes down either by coming up here and controlling the rods, right? So you can add or subtract to these, and that'll bring the fuel temperature down because you're effectively making a smaller reactor. All right. But I'm happy to leave it up because I want the resource, I want the cyanide resource, so I can make more turbines. So I'm okay with that. It'll probably drop off the yellowite a little bit, so we need to get some more things happening to research the yellowite. And our drills, notice that there's no power now coming out of the turbine, out of the reactor. Okay, it's all needed now. All the power's coming out of our turbine. So we're going to have a look at this. There's one little thing here before I finish off. Notice our turbine is screaming up to 900 RPM. Okay, we'll just wait for a sec until it gets up, and notice the power is screaming up here as well. Okay, 5,000 RF per tick, which is, you think, oh, that's lower than the reactor. Well, it gets up to 24,000 RF per tick, and that's only one turbine. We can install a whole pile more yet. So the two optimal speeds on these are 900 RPM, which gives you around about 12,000 RF per tick, and 1800 RPM, which gives you 24. But what happens between, what happens between those two speeds is the RF per tick drops off, and we're going to see that in a minute. So you can see we're approaching 900 RPM, and we're looking close to 12,000 RF per tick. And you'll actually see very, very soon that this will actually start to drop off. When it reaches about 1,000, this RF per tick will start to drop down or slow down. You can see it starting to slow down now. It's going at 900, so this is its initial peak area, and you see it starting to slow down now. So now you can see it's flying that single figure. It's almost ready to stop, and now it's going to go backwards. You see it counting down now. It's going to go all the way down to 700 RS per tick as this reactor speed controls goes back up again. So the RPMs are still going up, but we're losing power now, as you can see here. All right, it's going to keep going. Notice we've got massive amounts of, we've got massive amounts of energy here, which is fine. But that'll dissipate very, very quickly once we start. If we were to put the laser drills on it now, that'd disappear really quick. When this gets up to a right speed, we'll show you what is happening. But in the meantime, no, in fact I won't. I'll keep going. So now you can see it climbing back up again. We're at about 1400 RPM, and you can see the revs starting, the power starting to climb back up again. That'll get to with this configuration, speed will get to around about 1797, and then it'll go up very, very slowly by 0.1 of an RPM, and it takes forever. But it gives you 24,077 RF per tick, which is more than enough to run everything that you need. Now I run a number of turbines just to keep the reactor cool myself. So this is just the way I do play the game. I give myself heaps and heaps of power, and we're not going to have any problem with getting resources very soon. And we'll have enough resources then to do whatever we want to do. And we'll start space travel very, very soon. So just wait out, and we'll get to this level. So that's how it works. In fact, that's how it works. That's all good. So let's go and check our reactor again. Make sure that's all working good. So that's sitting around 3500. Our steam and water is fairly solid, pumping away some cyanide and millibucks per tick for us, which is all good, and working quite nicely. Okay, so that's not going to go anywhere in a hurry. So I'm going to disconnect all this stuff now, because we are done with our laser drills off the reactor, and our next tutorial will be all about getting our laser rooms ready. And I want to show you how I set up my my laser rooms and the power to the turbines using these chargers. It'll be the same setup, just a little bit different. So if you're enjoying this series, please like and subscribe to it. It helps me out, and share it. And I will catch you on the next tutorial, where we will be going through and setting up our laser drills. So that's it. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.